My name is Erina. After graduating high school, I spent 5 years working at a general company until I was introduced to my husband Teruaki through a mutual friend and got married. When I got pregnant with my first daughter Aya, I became a full-time housewife. But my mother-in-law hated me for only having a high school diploma, and because she thought I wasn't good at taking care of the household. If you want to know just how much she hated me, this is a story from when all of the relatives gathered for the New Year holiday. My husband had a sister 1 year older than him named Ray, as well as another sister 2 years older named Minako, and the two of them were back home for the holiday as well. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw my mother-in-law and her family relaxing in the living room, so in hopes of getting her to like me even just a little bit, I asked for small tasks and was going back and forth between the kitchen and the living room. Well, my mother-in-law completely ignored me, but my husband and his sisters were apparently talking about their New Year's resolutions. My resolution this year is to be healthy. That's the most important thing after all. Isn't that right? Oh, come on. Being healthy is a given though. Don't you have any bigger goals for this year?
Oh, you don't even know how grateful you should be to live your life in good health. You're still immature, I guess.
You're the one that thinks if you say something so favorable, then you'll be liked by everyone.
Guys, this is the New Year holiday. Please don't get into a fight.
My sister-in-laws were close in age, and anytime we would get together, they were always like this. My husband would always be the one to get in the middle. At that time, I just so happened to bring tea into the living room when, in a rare occurrence, my mother-in-law spoke to me. Well then, what is your resolution, Miss Erina? Resolution? I guess mine is to also be healthy this year. I couldn't think of anything on the spot, and unfortunately gave the same answer as the older sister. My mother-in-law seemed to agree with her, so I didn't think there would be any problem, but isn't that so easy to be healthy? Especially for you, Miss Erina, don't you think? Why? When Minako said the same thing, you agreed with her. Because, you know, the three of you, you're all college graduates. But Miss Erina only graduated high school. I'm sure she doesn't catch any colds. My mother-in-law glared over at me with a smirk on her face, and I felt my face get red and hot. But I knew that there was no way I could raise my voice here. Let me go refill your teas. I ran back to the kitchen as if to take refuge, and my sister-in-laws followed me back with sorry looks on their faces. I'm sorry, my mother, she's always like that. I hope you know that we don't think the same way at all. Please don't hate us. No, it's fine. Hey, what are you all whispering about?
You said something so insensitive, Mom, so we're apologizing on your behalf.
Oh, did I say something wrong? I was saying that because I envy her, you know. Because your health is the most important thing.
Mom, do you enjoy saying things like that to Erina every time you see her? You'll never feel better from saying mean things, and nothing good will come of it either, you know.
My two sister-in-laws may not agree on much, but in times like this, they both take my side and defend me in every way, and I'm really thankful for that. That being said, to my mother-in-law, her daughter's words mean nothing, and they weren't even a chip on her shoulder. Is that so? Erina always seems to laugh, so she knows that I'm just joking, isn't that right? I had no choice but to laugh. What do you mean, isn't that right? If you don't cut it out already, we're going to really lose it. Oh dear. Even though I'm working so hard to be a good mother-in-law all the time.
What are you talking about in here?
You need to step up more too. Making Erina tolerate everything on her own.
Huh? What are you talking about?
Erina, you haven't told him about any of this? I didn't think that I could hide it any longer, so I nodded my head yes.
What? What are you guys talking about?
Did you know that the other day, Mom made Erina's dumplings extra spicy on purpose, and hers only? Also, sometimes she'll purposely stick her foot out and trip her.
What?
I've never done such a thing. Whenever Erina's not here, you're endlessly complaining about her all the time, no matter how many times I ask you to stop. I'm doing that for her own sake, so I don't say it to her face. That's not any better.
I also heard that you suddenly showed up at her house unannounced and tried to teach her how to do her chores with a spatula in your hand.
I mean, how bored could you be? You told them this? I aggressively shook my head side to side.
We heard from Teruaki. Although this idiot seems like he didn't didn't think anything of it, from the wife's perspective, for the mother-in-law to come into your home unannounced can only be extremely stressful.
Did you just diss me too?
You just need to understand.
Everything you're doing is shady, Mom.
I had no idea. I'm sorry, Irina. I didn't know that you were suffering like that.
Come on, you're being so dramatic, all of you.
Mom, if you ever treat Irina like this again, I will never come back to this house. And I'm going to cut all ties with you too.
Wow, towards your own mother? Watch your mouth.
You deserve every word. Your resolution for this year, Mom, is to be nice to Irina.
It's decided.
You have no right to say any of that. I didn't do anything wrong. She's the stupid high school graduate who came and robbed my precious son. Of course, I should be strict on her. She's the one that gave you a grandchild, isn't she? I never asked that woman to give birth to anything.
My mother-in-law showed no regret or apology, and my sister-in-laws turned to me. I'm sorry. You don't have to force yourself to come here if my mother is around.
Yeah. Grandma!
The conversation came to a halt as the children came running in from the living room.
I want my New Year's money!
Yes, I have it ready, so just wait one moment. My mother-in-law handed out the envelopes one by one to every grandchild. Listen, you're definitely not going to open it until you get home. You have to promise your grandma, okay?
Okay, I promise. Thank you.
The kids all held onto their envelopes tightly as they ran back towards the living room. However, after this, the incident would occur. Before we could get back to the living room, I heard Aya crying. What's wrong, Aya? When I rushed back to the living room, Aya was crying hysterically.
Did everyone steal my gift money?
What? Kids, why would you do that?
Only my envelope was filled with just a few coins.
Coins? When I looked at the coins in Aya's small hand, there were 3 dimes and 1 penny. That's all?
Yeah.
At that moment, my mother-in-law's clouded expression didn't escape us. Little Aya, why don't we go over there and you can tell your grandma everything? My mother-in-law tried to run away from the situation and take Aya with her, but my sister-in-law stopped her.
Wait a second. Aya, the other kids, what did their envelopes look like? They had bills.
Little Aya, didn't Grandma tell you to wait until you get home to open the envelope?
I didn't open it, but everybody else was opening theirs, so they said to show them mine, and they took my envelope, and...
My nephews looked the other way and avoided eye contact. You brats. We're going to talk about this later at home. The 2 boys looked scared, but there was something we needed to confirm before that.
Wait a second. Let's gather everybody's envelopes right now.
Yeah. We gathered all of the New Year's gift money envelopes from the children and double-checked the contents on the spot. Then, we discovered that my daughter Aya only had 31 cents while every other child had received a $100 bill.
Mom, can you please explain this?
Do you enjoy doing awful things like this? Say something!
Only to our little girl. Why would you do such a thing?
No, it's not like I was doing it to your child. I just didn't want to give any money to that woman's kid. My husband included, everybody there glared at my mother-in-law with ice-cold eyes.
I see. You really hate Irina that much, huh? Well then, Mom, I'm cutting off all ties with you now.
What?
We're going to do the same. I've had enough of this, Mom.
Don't say that. You're my kids. Mom, you were harassing my husband too, weren't you? Saying things like, how do you earn enough at a small and medium enterprise? You should really cut it out, belittling people like that.
Now that we're talking about it, Mom gave my husband a nickname. She called him a marshmallow, didn't you, Mom?
How do you live with yourself behaving like this, like a child?
Come on, those were all just jokes, you know? You don't have to get so mad.
Well then, will you swear that you'll rebirth yourself into a better person?
I swear. Then apologize to Irina. Right now, properly. My mother-in-law looked like she was going to explode as she muttered to herself for a while, but realizing that her children were serious about cutting ties with her, she turned to me and bowed her head. I'm sorry, Irina. I'll never do anything mean to you ever again.
You do know what's going to happen if you do, right?
Yes, I know. After after this incident on New Year's, my mother-in-law did change her attitude towards me. If anything, it's changed so much that I'm honestly shocked. She used to come over to my house unannounced just to harass me, but she started coming less frequently and would actually contact me ahead of time to make an appointment before showing up. When she did come over, she wouldn't harass me one bit, but instead almost every single time, she would have her hands full with presents like snacks and toys for my daughter. She was sweet to Aya too, and at this rate, I thought that we might be able to get along, but because of the sudden and extreme change of behavior from my mother-in-law, I was feeling a little uneasy about it. That day, my mother-in-law said that she wanted to see her grandchild, so she brought a little gift and came over. This is a souvenir from when I went to China. Here you go. Tea and dumplings, I love them. Thank you very much. Wasn't it quite expensive? You don't need to worry about that. Grandma! Aya, your grandma brought you some dumplings today, and make sure you have some with your daddy later.
Thank you. I will.
The dumplings said to keep refrigerated, so I stored them in the fridge. My mother-in-law said that she had dinner plans with a friend, so as the sun went down, she went home.
I'm home. Do you mind if I have a beer?
Go ahead.
Oh, what are these, dumplings?
Your mother gave them to us.
My mom?
She said it was a souvenir from her vacation to China.
China? Vacation? I'm pretty sure that woman hated airplanes, though.
Oh, really?
Daddy, let's eat the dumplings that Grandma gave us.
You have to wait until I finish dinner.
Okay.
Once my husband was finished eating, the three of us decided to enjoy the dumplings. I'm going to make some tea, so you guys start eating.
They look yummy.
I think I'll wait until the tea, too, before I have one.
It's gross.
You didn't like it, Aya? Hey, Aya? Aya!
I heard my husband's voice and headed back towards the living room when... What happened?
Aya just collapsed! Aya! Aya! Call an ambulance!
Aya was whisked away into the ambulance and taken to the emergency room. After a few hours of treatment, the doctor informed us that her life was not at risk. It turns out that whatever she ate immediately before collapsing had some kind of poison in it, and the poison spread quickly through her body, and that's what made her collapse. The doctor said there should be no after effects, and after 3 days of hospitalization, they said she would be able to go back to a regular life.
Why don't you explain? This happened right after she ate the dumpling. Are you sure there wasn't something suspicious in there?
Why are you blaming me? Those should have been legitimate dumplings. I bought them and handed them to you directly.
Well then, are you saying that the dumplings already had some poisonous ingredients mixed into them?
But this is my fault for gifting you those dumplings, isn't it? I'm very sorry. No, but this wasn't your fault. We both suspected my mother-in-law had something to do with it, but from start to finish, she was taking a gentle manner, which made me start to think that this really could have been just a freak accident. Most importantly, at least my daughter was okay. Aya was asleep and sleeping peacefully, so Teruaki and I decided to head home. I thought about throwing away the dumplings at first, but...
I wonder if my mom really didn't do anything.
What? Are you suspecting that your mom did this?
Were the dumplings wrapped up and packaged properly?
They looked brand new.
Then how did she get the poison into the dumplings?
Poison? You're overthinking this. She looked just as shocked as we were when she saw Aya at the hospital.
Don't you think it's strange that she would become so nice all of a sudden?
Well, I mean, I did find that a little bit unnerving. But poison? Would she go that far?
Let's investigate those dumplings first.
When we opened up the box of dumplings that Aya ate, there was definitely an offensive odor coming out of the box, but the other 2 boxes that we received that we hadn't opened yet didn't look like they had any traces of ever being opened. Just like my mother-in-law had said, they looked as though she had bought them and handed them to us as is. The dumplings themselves didn't smell weird, so maybe the dumplings in that particular box just so happened to be rotten? Nothing seems off about any of these.
And the expiration date is fine too. Maybe she had stored them at room temperature?
I can't say for sure, but when she brought them here, they were definitely cold.
So maybe it really was just a coincidence.
Should we be looking up the ingredients of the dumplings or contacting the company that was selling them? I thought, but if they were from China, then there was no way that we could communicate with them, and to be honest, we didn't really know what we could do. It was at that moment a light bulb went off in my head.
What's wrong?
Wait a minute. Wait, could it be? At that moment, I realized for the very first time the reason why Aya got food poisoning. Why that dumpling had been so messed up. At the same time as solving the mystery, I felt my blood boiling inside of me.
I will never, ever forgive that person.
I immediately contacted my two sister-in-laws and asked them to meet me at their family house in the near future. There was no way I was going to let my mother-in-law get away with putting my daughter in danger like that. 1 month later,
It's so hot. You know, why can't it be the perfect level of hotness with at least a breeze?
I guess this is what global warming is.
Oh, by the way, here, a little gift.
What is this? Rice crackers. Let's enjoy them while we have tea.
Thank you.
I brought dumplings today too. Let's eat those together too.
Dumplings, huh? Do you feel like you don't want to see any dumplings anymore?
Well, you know. But now she's fully recovered and she's running around like her usual self. That's great to hear.
I didn't know that you could get food poisoning from dumplings.
I know, right? As my mother-in-law quietly agreed, she grabbed the dumplings and started eating them. But back in the day, I heard there were quite a few cases of food poisoning.
Oh, really?
People were convinced that you couldn't get food poisoning from Asian snacks, and a certain company caused a big problem by failing to ensure proper hygiene procedures were being taken.
Interesting.
Although, when it comes to that incident, it's a blurry line whether it was done on purpose or not.
Is it good? The dumplings? They're alright. It doesn't taste that good?
Yeah, it has a bit of a strange smell. Oh, could it be? My sister-in-law gently peeled off the sticker on the back of the box. Those dumplings might have been expired.
What?
That's right. I asked for help from my two sister-in-laws, and I did the exact same thing back to her. The exact same thing that this mother-in-law did to my daughter.
What do you mean?
I guess I put a sticker over the expiration date, so I didn't notice that they were expired. I can't believe that you tried to poison your own son and granddaughter.
My stomach! How out of date was the box that you fed to them?
It's not out of date.
What?
I just pretended there were 2 layers of stickers there. All I did was mix in some laxatives.
Well done, madam.
Thank you very much for your help. Don't worry. Oh, here it comes.
What on earth is this all about?
We should be the ones asking you. Here I was thinking you really had a change of heart. But instead, you handed them dumplings with poison in them. We already looked into the ingredients, so there's no way you're getting out of this.
It wasn't me!
You were giving a lot of presents when you went over to Erina's house, weren't you? We looked at all of them.
As for the food items, every single one was expired. And even the tea had been left for over 3 years.
I don't know what you're talking about. Is that so? Really? Even though you were bragging about it to all of your friends?
We heard that you've been bragging about all of this to your friends like an accomplishment.
That you have a grandchild and a woman who would happily eat expired food.
You should know better than to talk about this to your friends. Of course we were going to find out. I made sure to hush them so they wouldn't tell anyone.
You should know better than anyone that it's useless to try and prevent gossip from spreading. You were putting 2 stickers on all of the food to make it look like they weren't expired. And you gifted Erina and Aya dumplings and tea and other food that was well beyond expired. Isn't that right?
So what if I did? Trying to solve this stupid mystery? What are you gonna do about it? Even if you tried to sue me, you don't have any hard evidence, so I haven't done anything. No, you know what? I'm relieved to see this attitude again. Don't you remember what we said on New Year's?
That the next time you do something to Erina, we would be cutting all ties with you. That's why we're all here today, to tell you that.
Cutting all ties, that's so dramatic.
We mean it, Mom. I mean, I can't even think of you as my mom anymore.
You kids, you need to think about this. I raised you and let all 3 of you go to college and graduate. And yet, you think it's okay to mix blood with an idiot high school graduate like her? If you cut all ties, you know that none of the inheritance will be yours either. And you're fine with that? We don't need your money.
The most important thing is family, and we don't want to be involved with a dangerous person like you.
dangerous. Come on, all I did was play a bit of a mean prank.
And that prank almost cost Aya her life, you know? That's enough. This isn't your place to speak.
Ray, calm down. No matter what you say to this woman, she'll never understand. Let's go home now.
We'll never come back here ever again. Goodbye now.
Let's go, Irina.
I have plenty of friends. I'll be just fine without any of you. If anything, I feel so refreshed. Idiots can stick together as idiots and have your own idiot family.
We all left the house with my mother-in-law now in our past.
How dare they, forgetting who brought them into this world and raised them. I'm not going to write any of their names on the will. Then we'll see who's laughing. Well, doesn't this feel fresh? With the inheritance left by my husband, I'm going to enjoy my life. Well then, why don't I make myself a nice pot of tea? Maybe the blood rushed to my head a little too much. My legs are going numb. This isn't good. The ambulance. I need to call somebody help me.
Are you sure you were all okay with this? She is your mother after all, and... Of course it was. Well, listen to this. My mom, after eating those dumplings, the second I pretended to peel off the expiry sticker, she immediately went to go spit it back out.
She panicked so hard.
It's only a matter of time before she comes crying back to us.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I've already blocked her on my phone, and if she comes to my house, I'm going to call the police.
She put Aya's life at risk like that. Of course this is the result.
I hate Grandma!
From now on, you can think of us as the replacement for Grandma, and we're only going to give you the most delicious dumplings.
Thank you!
Oh yeah, I was amazed that you were able to get her friends to talk to you about this.
Oh, listen to this. In reality, my mom was actually hated by all of her friends.
Really? Even though she was going out for dinner with them almost every day? Apparently, they were doing it all reluctantly. They were so tired of her that they were going out for tea or coffee and purposefully not inviting our mom sometimes.
I almost feel bad for her being disliked by so many people.
While our family was gathered together and discussing the entire situation, nobody knew that my mother-in-law had collapsed in her house. She wasn't discovered until about 3 days after she had collapsed. By that time, it was already too late. If my mother-in-law had just apologized to me or her daughters and had truly tried to change her behavior, I'm certain she would have lived longer and would have been happier as well. Instead, she was hated until her very last breath, and that's how her life ended. Even without mother-in-law, my husband and his sisters and I get together about once a month these days. As for the inheritance left behind by my husband's parents, my mother-in-law hadn't written any will, so the 3 siblings split it evenly.